Good evening and welcome to the briefing room. I'm Madhavdas G. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ram Mandir donation theft has left devotees across the country outraged. The special investigation team is now widening its probe as it looks to nab all the culprits. In its preliminary findings, the S.I.T is reported to have flagged serious lapses in management, pointing to a gross failure in administration and monitoring system. The report, as per sources, does not exonerate anyone so far. Names of key office bearers, including Champat Rai, Anil Mishra and Gopal Rao, are said to be under the scanner as part of the ongoing investigation. The donation theft probe has now reached the Ram Mandir Trust top leadership. Sources say Trust General Secretary Champat Rai was questioned, with investigators focusing on administrative decisions. Let's tell you about how the interrogation with Champat Rai progressed. What are we talking about? 3 hours of police questioning that took place, a statement that was recorded by the police, and also, of course, he was grilled on management of the temple offerings. The statement is to be verified with witnesses, is what sources are indicating to us. Now, very clearly, the role of Champat Rai in terms of the theft itself of these offerings, the fact that he says he had no role in the theft, that he took immediate action, and that the suspects were caught and an FIR was filed, is what Champat Rai said in his defense. On the issue of hiring of relatives, employment was given based on need, not on his decision alone. Other trust members were involved and mentioned it to Anil Mishra and Gopal Rao. This is the version of Champat Rai as far as this particular charge of hiring relatives is concerned. Meanwhile, the entire investigation is also focusing on the role of the trust and the agreement it had with the SBI. Sources say a certain trust member received up to 40% commissions from the Mandir donations. At least somewhere, about 58 lakh rupees were allegedly stolen from the donations, is the preliminary information. The S.I.T has also found indications that several provisions of the February 2025 Memorandum of Understanding were not followed consistently. As per top sources, multiple SOP violations were even flagged. The norms pertaining to rotation of bank staff was also allegedly ignored in the process. Now, Times Now is also on ground zero, hot on the trail of the accused and their whereabouts. Over the course of our coverage, Times Now has reached the residence of one of the accused, Lavish Mishra. What we found was a lavish home that was being built in Ayodhya. Now, doing so may not be a crime in itself. Of course, anyone can build a home. But what we've learned is that Lavish Mishra earned about 15,000 rupees a month. And that's why the funding behind the construction of his new home is under the lens. All the properties of the 8 accused are now under the scanner of the Ayodhya police, including properties of Lavish Mishra and Anukalp Mishra. Here's what we found at the residence of Lavish. Take a look.
This is the under construction house of the accused Lavish Mishra. In the visuals, you can see that how he was building his house in this locality of Ayodhya. Now, interestingly, Lavish Mishra only earns rupees 12,000 to 15,000, but we can see the extent with which this house was being constructed in Ayodhya. You can see that all the gate frames, the window frames, they all have been already installed over here, and the construction just began nearly 3 to 4 months back. So now the obvious questions are being raised from where Lavish Mishra and the other accused in this case were getting money. You can clearly see these window frames, these door frames, and all of this. You can see the wiring. In fact, the wiring of the house was also underway. So the obvious question is that was the siphon of money, the money they siphoned off from the donation was being used in the construction of these houses. So all these properties have now come under the scanner of the police and investigating agencies.
Now, naturally, as the probe is picking up pace, so is the politics. While the property of the accused is under the lens, the AIMIM president, Asaduddin Owaisi, has now added a fresh twist. He claims that the accused homes may not have even been surviving, or it may have been completely demolished by now if they belong to a certain community, and asks why the accused in this case are being given such a long rope.
अगर ट्रस्ट में गलती हो गई, उस ट्रस्ट में एक मुसलमान को तुम मेंबर बना लेते, और बाद में जब ये घोटाला सामने आया तो उस मुसलमान को ले जाकर एनकाउंटर कर देते, बुलडोजर से उसका घर तोड़ देते, केस क्लोज्ड। चंपक तो मजे में है, चंपक अभी पूरे चंपक मजे में है। आप बताइए क्या हो रहा है, ये क्या हो रहा है बताइए आप। किसका घर नहीं तोड़ा जा रहा है? जिनको गिरफ्तार किया गया उनको पुलिस कस्टडी भी नहीं ली जाती। अब शायद आज के बाद, मेरे बोलने के बाद शायद कल पुलिस कस्टडी ले लेंगे। बताओ आज क्या हो रहा है उत्तर प्रदेश में।
Now, meanwhile, sources are telling Times Now that the entire donations at Ram Mandir have dropped over the past 1 year. Here's what top sources are telling Times Now in terms of the donations last year vis-a-vis donations this year. Now, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about 2 years. We're talking about 2024 to 2025 and the years of 2025 to 26. What are we talking about in terms of the actual donations? It was 157 crores that was actually received the previous year. This year, how much is the donations that has been received? Just 82.7 CR. Just look at the difference, ladies and gentlemen. Barely half, 50% drop. What is the reason for this minus 50%? Is it just because of pilferage? We don't know. We are not certainly claiming that. Possible reason? Is it also because of the reason that there was a lot of excitement in the year 2024-25? We don't know that either. Perhaps that could explain it. But this is certainly a very striking number as to why the amount has come down so drastically. And given the fact that a lot of people have donated, could this amount be accurate itself? Could this be have much more than what we've seen earlier? So that's the nearly 50% decline in donations we're talking about. Now, this is also why the S.I.T is also looking at multiple aspects, including why these donations have dropped. Here's what investigators are looking at the moment. The cause of decline in donations that is now going to be investigated. The possibility of misreporting diversion is now going to be probed as well. Bank records, the cash handling logs, all are under the lens of the investigators. The CCTV, the counting room procedures are going to be reviewed as well. There's also going to be a cross-checking of the donations with the bank deposits that were done at that point of time. The money trail across collection channels is going to be mapped very closely as well. And there's also a deeper financial audit and verification process that is currently underway, is what we are told. Meanwhile, the politics is only intensifying. In fact, UP Congress chief Ajay Rai has also alleged that he was kept under house arrest ahead of his scheduled visit to the Ayodhya Ram Mandir. He claims that the government is scared of their visit and that they will not stop demanding action on them. A short while earlier, he was seen offering prayers at the Hanuman Gadi temple in Ayodhya. But here's what he said earlier today.
भगवान जब बुलाएंगे तो कोई रोक नहीं पाएगा, ना कोई सरकार ने सत्ता, दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं, योगी न मोदी कोई नहीं रोक सकता। भगवान की कृपा है हम सब पर, और महादेव का मैं भक्त हूं, बाबा विश्वनाथ का, तो निश्चित तौर से आज भगवान ने बुलाया तो दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं रोक पाई। रामलला का दर्शन करके प्रभु से एक ही चीज मांगा कि जो यहाँ भ्रष्टाचार, जो यहाँ लूट हो रही है, जो चढ़ावा में चोरी हो रही है, भगवान उनके ऊपर निश्चित उनको दंड मिले और कार्रवाई हो। ऐसे लोगों के ऊपर निश्चित कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए जो आज इस पवित्र भूमि को जिन्होंने अपमानित किया है, जो इस पवित्र भूमि को कलंकित करने वाले लोगों पर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। आगे हम बात हर जगह उठा रहे हैं कि ये सारे लोगों पर, जो इस ट्रस्ट के लोग हैं, चाहे नृपेंद्र मिश्रा हो, चंपत राय बंसल हो, अनिल मिश्रा हो, चाहे वो गोविंद गिरी हो, चाहे वो गोपाल राव हो, सबके ऊपर कार्रवाई, कोई छोटे ऊपर नहीं, सारे बड़ों ऊपर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए।
Meanwhile, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has criticized the opposition parties, claiming that those who denied the existence of Lord Ram for long are now suddenly speaking about faith and want to visit Ayodhya.
वह कांग्रेस जो 2017 के पहले राम के अस्तित्व को ही नकार चुकी थी, श्री कृष्ण के अस्तित्व को ही नकार चुकी थी, आज वो भी कहती है कि राम तो सबके हैं। अब ये लोग सब मचल रहे हैं अयोध्या जाने के लिए। ये विरासत के सम्मान की बात हो या नौजवानों को नौकरी देने की बात। आज मुझे अच्छा लगता है जब हम लोग उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार में कोई सरकारी विज्ञापन निकालते हैं उत्तर प्रदेश के नौजवान नौकरी प्राप्त करते हैं। यूपी के अंदर आज के दिन पर जो चीजें हैं, मैं देखता हूं जब कोई सरकारी नौकरी के हम नियुक्ति पत्र वितरित करते हैं, रामपुर के भी नौजवानों को नियुक्ति पत्र मिलता है तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है। ये नौजवान 2017 के पहले वंचित थे।
All right, and breaking news coming in. Ayodhya police is considering seeking the assistance of the SFIO or the Serious Fraud Investigation Office to strengthen its investigation into the alleged embezzlement of funds linked to Ram Temple Trust. The move is being explored as investigators examine the financial trail, accounting practices and the suspected diversion of donation money. Let me take this across to Adib, who's joining us. Adib, this is a big development coming in. It is the SFIO, which is under the aegis of the Union Finance Ministry, which is now expected to be reached out to. By when will a final decision be taken by the UP police?
Well, Madhav, see, the Ayodhya police is considering taking the help of the SFIO because this matter includes several of the banks, and there is a long history of the banking transaction, which includes several of the documents related to the accused and as well as the temple trust. So in this regard, the Ayodhya police, to strengthen their own investigation, they are mulling on this particular point that they can seek the help of the SFIO, which is the Serious Fraud Investigation Office, and if approved by the state government will reach out to Government of India for this particular investigation, and this will particularly help the Ayodhya police to solve this case at earliest, because there have been allegations regarding the embezzlement, and to uncover each and every allegations and to solve this case, UP police is now, especially the Ayodhya police, they are mulling over to seek help from SFIO in this particular case, Madhav.
We'll have to leave it there, Adib. Thanks so much for joining us with all that information. Big breaking development. The SFIO likely to be roped in by the UP police. A final call to be taken shortly. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guest. RP Singh is BJP's national spokesperson. With us is Sriraj Nair, VHP's national spokesperson as well. We have Advocate Kapil Madan, political analyst, joining us. Ashok Yadav is SP spokesperson, joining us on the show. Let me start first and foremost with Sriraj Nair. Sriraj Nair, very, very important questions are now coming up as to the custodians of the trust. When we were debating this, when the FIR was filed, a few days ago, we were not sure about the role of Mr. Champat Rai. Mr. Champat Rai has now stepped down pending investigation. But now, the fact that he knew on the 4th of June that there is video of the 5th of June of CCTV where the police, where trust officials went to one of the accused house, recovered money there, yet no FIR was filed at that stage by the VHP and the trust. Even if Mr. Champat Rai is not guilty of, looting the money directly, he has a fiduciary responsibility. He had to report this mandatorily, being a member of the trust, being a general secretary of the trust. And he did not do that. Yet his name does not find place in any FIR.
Well, Madhav, when this things popped up on the during the first week of June, it was Mr. Champat Rai who went ahead and requested the state government for the formation of an S.I.T. An S.I.T. was formed, and Champat Rai ji requested the S.I.T. to begin the probe with him. So it was he himself who went on with a request for S.I.T. probe. And already the S.I.T. has submitted an interim report. 8 people have been arrested. Let us wait, and the S.I.T. has requested for some more time. And today you are showing the story. So we are absolutely very clear. We don't want to shield anybody, irrespective of the post one holds. That includes Mr. Champat Rai also. But let us not be in a hurry to blame. Let the investigation be completed, and let the SIT come out with their final report. And whoever he may be, irrespective of the post he holds, the heads have already resigned 2-3 days back. And once the investigation reports are out, they will have to face the music. The law of the land is supreme. We are absolutely clear. Anybody who has siphoned the money, or who has turned a blind eye towards all this act, will have to face the music. But we should not go.
Okay, Kapil Madan is wanting to respond to. Kapil Madan, are we jumping to a conclusion here? Because Mr. Sriraj Nair is saying wait for the investigation to be complete. Mr. Champat Rai has stepped down, and whoever is guilty will be punished. But in this particular case, is it as simple? Has Mr. Champat Rai been the whistleblower or someone else?
So, Madhav, I heard Mr. Sriram Nair, and I have no qualms in saying what he has said has zero facts and full fiction, and allow me to make those points very, very clear. To my understanding and the information which is available in the public domain, the complaint was filed by one person, namely Krishna Mohan, who is also a part of the trust. It was not filed by Mr. Champat Rai. And let me also give you another logic. If Mr. Champat Rai wanted to escalate this, why was that, he should have then first, if he was the informant, meaning thereby he knew that there is a theft that is happening. In that situation, he should have resigned first, and thereafter he should have, referred to complaint to the S.I.T. In any case, facts are very, very clear. This is not a small matter. It's a matter wherein, crores of devotees, faith has been questioned and it has been shaken. I totally agree with, what you said earlier, that a specialized investigation is required. Let me also tell you, SFIO is a very professional body, and no small petty theft, etc. goes there. If the S.I.T has realized that, this has such a magnitude which requires an SFIO investigation, so that means it is grave beyond imagination.
Okay.
And your data has, your data is also pointing towards that only. If, there was donation of 172 crores, why would, the donation would, fall when the footfall is increasing?
Okay, let me bring in one by one other panelists. Shiraj, I noted your hand, but let me first bring in RP Singh and others as well. Let me get a quick opening comment from them. RP Singh, if the SFIO is being brought in, you have Kapil, who is normally very critical of the BJP, of the UP government, of the central government. Even he is saying it's a good thing, because at least to my best of my knowledge, 6 banks have been given a notice. So perhaps we require a specialized central agency, whether it's the ED, the CBI, the SFIO. I'm no expert, but it's a good thing that bigger agencies are getting involved if that is indeed the case. But I must ask you a question. If there is indeed a professional investigation happening in this case, then why is it that opposition leaders such as Ajay Rai are claiming that we are not being allowed to visit Ayodhya? Later in the evening, of course, we saw his pictures, but we saw how Ajay Rai, his family members coming out and saying that he's been detained because he was heading to Ayodhya. RP Singh.
Well, Madhav, first let's understand what is happening on ground vis-a-vis the investigation. FIR was filed on the complaint of, you rightly said, Krishna Mohan and Champat Rai Ji both. And on that basis, the FIR was filed. 8 people were arrested on the S.I.T report, which was submitted on the first go. S.I.T is still investigating. They also investigated Champat Rai. And none will be spared. I'm telling you on record, none will be spared, whether he's an official or whether he's an employee, whether he's a member of the trust or whether he's a employee who was part of the management of the trust issues. But the issue is that government is seriously taking up the concern and issue step by step. And now the special serious fraud investigation office is to be involved, which will also lead to further the investigation, and then which will go more deep into it and dig more deeper into it. So why to make it a political issue? Why to hit it as if you're hitting the Sanatana? I mean, people who are raising, who's claiming them to Ram
very respectfully, sir. The BJP's popularity has risen with the Ram Janmabhoomi issue. So, they will turn around and say, you made it a political issue 3.5 decades ago.
Sir,
I will ask a question of SP and the Congress. There is no problem. But the point is, why to make it a political issue? Because we are told it's a 500-year struggle. And in 2 years, there's been such a huge scam.
It was never a political issue for us. It was a cultural issue for us. It was never a political, it was a cultural issue, and we said it that way back in 90s in our manifesto also. That yes, it's a cultural issue. It's a
was it mentioned in your manifesto? Was it mentioned in your election manifesto?
Yes, sir. Please. Yes, sir. I will send you the manifesto.
You're going to elections. You're promising the people. It's a political promise.
There are cultural issues, there are civilization issues, there are political issues. Ram can never be a political issue in this country. We lost our 4 governments because of that. Had it been a political issue, we would have contested that. We lost our 4 governments because of Babri Masjid demolition. So we stood by that, and we still stand by the Ram as a civilization issue.
No, I'm not questioning your commitment towards the issue. Maybe you've lost, maybe you've gained. I'm not getting into that. But can we say, all right, let Kapil Madan answer that question. His hand is up. Kapil Madan.
Now, Madhav, it's ironical. It's a hypocrisy of the highest order. You have very rightly pointed out that in their own manifesto, they have mentioned about Lord Ram's temple. Now, one is a time that you should be taking responsibility and you should be taking accountability. You are distancing yourself from, this theft. I think there cannot be a bigger sin. Let me remind all our viewers, जब मंदिर की कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रही थी, तो एक ये नैरेटिव ये था कि जो राम को लाए हैं, तो ये क्लेम करते थे कि भगवान श्री राम का मंदिर इन्हीं की कृपा से शायद बन रहा है. Now, when there is a theft, when is a time when you should be, at the forefront and you should be taking responsibility of this theft? You are saying, no. It is a cultural issue.
But Kapil Madan, let me also ask you this. Your leader, Mr. Ajay Rai, is today seen in Ayodhya. In the last 2 years, how many times have your top leaders visited Ayodhya? Please tell us this.
So let me just give you, अभी भी मैंने पढ़ा, माधव, Mr. Ajay Rai has appeared. Hold on. Mr. Singh, allow me to make my point. I never interrupted. You're a seasoned debater. Allow me to make my point. Now, I asked one question here. Mr. Singh is also here. VHP spokesperson, who is also a learned man, is also here. Has he visited all the religious dham in our country or not, is my question. Has he visited, I am specifically asking a question, has he visited Kailash Mansarovar or not? Nayyar ji, आप बताइए. Nayyar ji, आप Kailash Mansarovar होके आए हैं? आप बताइए, आप होके आए हैं? आप होके आए, हाँ या ना बोल दीजिए सिर्फ. आप गए हैं कि नहीं गए? नहीं गए ना? आप बताइए. आप नहीं गए ना? आप नहीं गए ना? कैलाश मानसरोवर नहीं गए ना? राम जी के अस्तित्व को ही नहीं.
Kapil, Kailash Mansarovar requires a permission. It requires a visa. Let's not trivialize this debate. Let me bring in. Okay. Let me bring in Ashok Yadav. Ashok Yadav, the same question applies to you also. End of the day, आपके जो नेता हैं, यूपी में बेस्ड है, यूपी में पॉलिटिक्स है अखिलेश यादव जी की. पिछले 2 साल में अब तक राम मंदिर में क्यों नहीं गए हैं?
अखिलेश यादव जी ने अभी हाल ही में अनाउंस किया है कि जो इटावा में जो हमारा भगवान शिव का मंदिर बन रहा है, वो शिव के मंदिर के बनने के बाद वो अयोध्या में जाएंगे भगवान राम के मंदिर में दर्शन कर. तो ये क्लियर कट उन्होंने अनाउंसमेंट कर दिया मीडिया के सामने.
ये सारे एफआईआर की रजिस्ट्री के बाद किया उन्होंने?
नहीं, इसके पहले भी उन्होंने कहा था, कई बार
पहले भी कहा था, बट 2 साल से गए नहीं. अब अचानक सारी पॉलिटिक्स जब इसके इर्द गिर्द घूम रही है, तब अचानक वहां जा रहे हैं.
इटावा में वो भगवान शिव का बहुत बड़ा भव्य दिव्य मंदिर बनवा रहे हैं. वो मंदिर बनने के बाद वो जाएंगे. ये बात उन्होंने 6 महीने पहले भी बोली थी, अभी फिर बोला उन्होंने. सवाल दूसरा है कि जो S.I.T बनी है, ये S.I.T के बाद SFIO,
वो मंदिर देखने जा रहे हैं, दर्शन करने जा रहे हैं. सर क्या बोल रहे हैं आप नेशनल टेलीविजन पे?
यस माधव जी,
मंदिर देखने जा रहे हैं कि दर्शन करने जा रहे हैं? रामलला के
मंदिर जाएंगे दर्शन करने, लेकिन जो इटावा में मंदिर बन रहा है भगवान शिव का, उस मंदिर
सर इटावा के मंदिर की बात ही नहीं हो रही यहाँ पे अयोध्या के रामलला के राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर की बात हो रही है.
रामलला के मंदिर में अखिलेश यादव जी जाएंगे, सब परिवार जाएंगे. उन्होंने वादा किया है, मीडिया के सामने वादा किया, सबके सामने वादा किया है. लेकिन सबसे बड़ा सवाल है कि राम मंदिर, आपने ठगों को देखा होगा, देयर आर सो मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ ठग.
सर सारी राजनीति करने के बाद वहां जाएंगे, ये क्या बात हुई?
देखिए ऐसा है कि अभी मदान जी ने कहा कि कोई भी ऐसा नेता नहीं है जो सारे रिलीजियस प्लेसेस पे विजिट कर चुका हो.
सर ये आप सरकार में रहे हैं, राम टेम्पल राम जन्मभूमि विषय के इशू की इंपॉर्टेंस आप जानते हैं, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में क्या पोजीशन लिया ये भी हम जानते हैं. कपिल सिब्बल ने क्या पोजीशन लिया सारे जानते हैं.
कपिल सिब्बल समाजवादी पार्टी के वकील नहीं थे. कपिल सिब्बल समाजवादी पार्टी के वकील तो थे।
आपके सरकार, अरे सर आपने सपोर्ट किया था यूपीए सरकार को कि नहीं किया था?
कौन सी पार्टी?
हमने सपोर्ट किया था और हम जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को सारे राजनीतिक दलों ने कहा था जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर होगा उसको हम लोग फॉलो करेंगे, उसको हम लोग एक्सेप्ट करेंगे।
तो यही तो दिक्कत है सर, आप यूपीए की सरकार समाजवादी पार्टी इसके सपोर्ट से बची थी। ऑलराइट, आरपी सिंह, रिस्पॉन्ड टू दैट चार्ज।
माधव, आज से स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य के बारे में क्या कहना है इनका? व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से अबाउट स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य? व्हाट ही सेड अबाउट रामचरितमानस? कम ऑन सर, आई मीन इनका हाथी के दहन खाने के कुछ और, खाने के कुछ और, दिखाने के कुछ और है। फैक्ट इज
अरे चोरों के तो
they were the one who said
that does not give you right
party claimed that yes,
that does not give you right to defend the chori.
we killed Ram Bhakt and need we would have killed more. अरे चोरी की बात मत करो, आप तो सरकार की लड़कियां टूटियां चोरी कर आ गए थे। you stole the taps of the government flat, government accommodation which was allotted to you. तो चोरी की बात मत करो, यहाँ पर एक्शन हो रहा है और कड़क कर एक्शन हो रहा है और एक भी आदमी बख्शा जाने वाला नहीं है, वो अधिकारी हो वो कर्मचारी हो।
कर सेवकों की हत्या हुई है एसपी सरकार के दौरान, जवाब दीजिए अशोक यादव।
माधव जी, निपेंद्र मिश्रा फॉर्मर चीफ सेक्रेटरी ड्यूरिंग मुलायम सिंह यादव गवर्नमेंट, ही इज आल्सो कल्प्रिट ऑन फायरिंग कार सेवक। निपेंद्र मिश्रा राम मंदिर ट्रस्ट में क्या कर रहे हैं? निपेंद्र मिश्रा राम मंदिर ट्रस्ट निर्माण समिति के अध्यक्ष कैसे बने हुए हैं? उन्होंने ऑर्डर किया था सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश के अनुपालन में, वहां पर वहां पर सारी स्थिति को पूर्वक बना के रखी जाए। ये चीफ सेक्रेटरी का काम होता है, मुख्यमंत्री काम नहीं होता है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को फॉलो करने का काम चीफ सेक्रेटरी का होता है, मुख्यमंत्री काम नहीं होता है।
सर सरकार की चलाने की जिम्मेदारी तो मुख्यमंत्री की होती है। बट नेवरदलेस, श्रीराज नायर, क्विक रिस्पॉन्स।
माधव जी, मेरे को भी
well, Madhav, it was Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav who categorically said, if a need arises, again I will ensure that I will give the order to fire. Now we are seeing 2027 elections are UP elections are around the corner. Political vultures have popped in. Now they have nothing to do with Bhagwan Sri Ram or Bhakti of Bhagwan Sri Ram. All these years they ridiculed, they mocked, they shot the innocent car sevaks. Congress ensured they roped in the best of the lawyers so that the Ram temple does not come in picture. All of a sudden this Ram...
Quick closing comment from Kapil. Kapil, quick closing comment. You've worked against the Ram temple. You've said that it should not be built. Your leaders have stalled it for several decades and also even denied the existence of Lord Ram. That was a UPA government affidavit.
So I pity on Mr. Nair on his sense of, and his knowledge about history. Let me remind him, in the 1980s, it was Mr. Rajiv Gandhi who had directed and ordered that the locks of the mandir will be open. To say that, Congress government has opposed is factually and historically wrong. Hold on. Arey sir, Nair साहब हिस्ट्री में मुझे लग रहा है हिस्ट्री, अरे बाबा आप हिस्ट्री आपके लिए बहुत डिफिकल्ट है।
Okay.
अरे मैं दे रहा हूँ जवाब, मैं दे रहा हूँ आपको जवाब।
All right. Completely out of time. I'm sorry, we're completely out of time. I have to wrap up this debate here. RP Singh, Shriraj Nair, Advocate Kapil Badhan, and Ashok Yadav. We'll have to end this debate, but certainly it's not the last word yet. We've heard a lot more in terms of the investigation that's still left to come out from Ayodhya.